Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. You've clicked on this video because we are making from scratch rainbow clip-in bangs. And I am so excited to share this with you. This was such a fun process. I go through everything from building the foundation, sourcing the hair, ventilating the hair, how I colored the rainbow in the front. So, without further ado, we got a lot to jump into, so let's get to it. So to start the construction of these bangs, I have to decide what my shape's gonna be and build the foundation accordingly. Grabbing my own head block, which is my head shape and hairline, and I put some Scotch tape over that so that I can create a new shape, which is going to be our bang piece. Now I'm going to lay my lace east to west. This is the grain or the lines that the lace is in. I like to do it this way when I'm doing cross knotting or have a crown swirl. Now when it comes to getting a curvature, you have to do darts. So I am going to do my darts away from the front. This is going to help when you're trying to comb so your comb doesn't grab those darts. And I like to pin my darts at the bottom and work my way up. I don't go too far down because you don't need that much excess on the outsides. So I'm pulling out my little handy dandy baby iron. I like to do this just because it gives it that one little push over so that you don't have your darts kind of wanting to bubble up. Now listen, this step is not necessary, but I have found that, especially when folding lace, it's really nice to add a little heat just to get that refinement. Let's go ahead and take our very fine thread and vent stitch with our hook and handle. Now, when I am stitching my darts, I like to start with the open side first, work my way up, and if I have to do any creeping to get rid of the bubble, I'll do that and then bring it back down. So I was taught when you're vent stitching, you could do double knot and then do a couple of just regular, and then double knot, but don't go too long without doing a double knot because trust and believe, you will snap that thread. So spread it out if you want. It works just fine, but I like to keep my stitches very tight. And the tighter you go, the less likely you are to have a comb stick into it. I do owe you an apology because I did not get any footage of me actually creating these seams. So don't hate me, but I will make a separate video on seams, especially because we are about to get into the world of a wig course here on YouTube. So just stay tuned. Don't hate me, please. But what I did was roll it. I rolled it once and then rolled it twice, just to have a finished seam all the way around. And then after I seam the entire thing, I then begin to stitch. Now we can't build bangs without hair, so let's run to Max Hair here in Los Angeles and grab hair for our build. And so many of you have asked me if I like Max Hair, and I love that we have a Slavic company like Max Hair here in Los Angeles that is close enough for me to drive to. And the wonderful ladies at Max Hair helped me buy a base and a low light for our build. And on top of that, what I love is that I can buy it by the gram, so I don't have to overcommit with hair. I can get exactly what I need for each build. Now, when I said custom, I meant custom, and we are going to be knotting every single hair on this piece. So let's jump into ventilating. I did have to prep our hair by double drawing. Let me know if you want a more in-depth video. There is currently a very short video on this. This is our directions for ventilating. Everything is cross-knotted. And as we go around the sections, we slowly move in a circle. And this is essentially what a crown swirl is. So think of it like when you grab the center of your shirt and twist it when you want to tie-dye. Think of it like that. It kind of bends into itself and creates a very natural pinwheel so that the hair does not unnaturally part. I wanted to go ahead and knock out my edge right off the bat because it's all double knotted. Now the reason I double knot is because I knew I was going to go through multiple layers of lace, and oftentimes when you have multiple layers of lace and you actually pick them all up, double knotting will lock the hair in because they tend to want to come undone. Now, the rest of this piece is going to be single hair, single knot, every hole. I like doing this in a parting area, and I like doing this anywhere that there's a crown swirl because it just fills in how the hair naturally wants to grow. And you don't always have to do your entire piece this way, or at least your entire top. Just for this, I wanted to do it because it was such a small piece. I tend to really focus this style of knotting just in a part for an entire wig. We don't necessarily have to go in and do an entire top. It's just, if you know you want to part every which way, you may want to do this on a much bigger section on your wig than, let's say, on something that you know the part is going to just be in the center or just be on either side. Now this camera angle is perfect for showing why I color my block. So do you see how when we're this close and we're having to use hair that's this light, you can still see the grid and see your knotting? I cannot explain to you how important it is to you, whether you use a Sharpie like I do and tape over it, or you use a tab, it's going to save your life and you're going to go so much faster. Okay, now that we finished most of that section, let's start working on our other little sections. So let me see if I can explain that. I have tried 3 times to explain this. I will go in and work on each section, but not go all the way towards the center. Then you'll see here in a second, I'll ventilate the little dot, and then I'll finish the last inch after that. Okay, so while we finish ventilating, let me talk to you about why I cut the returns. So the hair was processed. I knew I was coloring after, so I decided no more chemicals that are too harsh. And on top of that, I wanted to tell you that I tried point cutting my returns. Best decision ever. Probably won't go back. Highly recommend trying out. The varied lengths helps diffuse any type of weird, all one length return cutting that sometimes you get. Perfection. I'd also add that sometimes when you leave long returns, it causes the hair to knot up. I figured for some of you, you may need to know that. So if there's cuticle present, you got to cut it or reduce it. Now there's some details to taking a piece from a piece to a custom piece. So let me show you what those details are. Using Shadesy Q8 and 9, I'm going to do a 1/4 to 3/4 ratio, and I'm actually going to use a gloss to root. Now my roots naturally kind of are translucent, so using a gloss helps kind of give that look of a root that is lived in without going too far. And rooting a wig really does help take it to the next level because, just like I said, that too much hair can make a bang piece look like a sticker. Having a solid colored piece can also make it really look stickery if you're not careful. So always try to root your wig if you can. And at first I thought I'd use 6, but I actually ended up only doing 4. So I got rid of that center and moved down the outer 2. And for stitching, I'm going to take clear thread and I'm actually going to loop 3 times on the outside, twice in the center, and then loop 3 times again. And then I always end with a double knot. And our last detail before we go into our rainbow coloring is your haircut. Your piece is only as good as your haircut. So I took it to my girl that I absolutely trust with my pieces and had her cut them, and it's off to the races to color. And I have an exciting announcement! Arctic Fox actually partnered with me to create these rainbow bangs. And I knew that Arctic Fox colors were very mixable, so what I wanted to do was go through and plan and kind of mix a few things, play, and I absolutely loved having the diluted color and the siren color to really deepen and lighten the colors as I wish. And on top of that, the colors mixed so well that I was able to really get good gradients on this. I sectioned out my hair like this in a pizza style. This is going to give you a really beautiful blend into each color. And I also used an egg carton for my colors. Another thing I wanted to do was start from the center and the lightest point and work my way out. So I did the green to purple side first, and then I did the yellow to red side. This helped with transferring, and I had a towel on standby and I constantly wiped things down. Time to process for 30 minutes. And always a friendly reminder to wash in cold water. And after we blow dry and style, this is how she came out. Let's get her on our head. So taking pop clips, I pop clipped away my hair so that we can then really anchor down the front, and then we'll pin down the back. And it's important that you grab those 2 front clips and place them as far apart as you can before clipping, because you want that tension, because we do not have anything in the center, because obviously if we put it in the center, you would see the pop clip. Now, this is my genuine reaction when I looked at the mirror. Now, I want you to clock just how good this looks and blends at the top. You don't even know that that is not my hair. This is the most perfect example of why a custom piece is so important. If you're wanting to really integrate your own hair into a piece, rooting, fully hand-tied, thinking about directions, adding the color where you want is going to make your piece go from good to great. That is how I custom built clip-in rainbow bangs. I hope this was helpful, and if you follow along, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm very active there and always check my comments. And if this video earned your subscription, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And finally, a little housekeeping. I am slowly working towards getting a Wig 101 course up. and I'm going to post it here on YouTube, and that is going to be my version of a course. So stay tuned with that. Turn on your notification bell so that you do not miss when I first begin to upload. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.